Welcome to Team Unity Dominica's Round the Table, a weekly program on social media presented by the political movement from the island of Dominica, the youngest of them all, known as Team Unity Dominica. The movement is under a year, and so far we have taken part in the national general elections as the second party in the elections, albeit in the midst of a call for political boycott. But Team Unity Dominica felt it best and necessary to stand to represent Dominica's democracy on only its second month in operation. And we are pleased, very, very proud by this track record of success. Since then, the movement has been doing the necessary preparation, of course, for the next election, with the hope that we will find favor with the electorates. And whenever important national issues surface, we take it as our remit to respond and sometimes to proactively present ideas and information as to how best the nation could be run. Today on this program, the team leader, Carlos Charles, will deliver a statement in response to visa imposition on Dominica. I should say entry visa imposition on Dominica by the United Kingdom. And by way of introduction, I'm going to read a story from MO News, Dominica's leading news network, which captured the essence of the issue, entitled UK imposes restrictions on Dominica due to CBI concerns. The story was posted on Wednesday, July 19, 2023 at 2:36 p.m. And I quote, "Nationals from Dominica who intend to travel to the United Kingdom, UK, must now apply for a visa due to changes in the country's immigration regime." The British Home Office said this week that it was done due to concerns over the islands and other country citizenship by investment program. Careful consideration of Dominica's and Vanuatu's operation of citizenship by investment scheme has shown clear and evident abuse of the scheme, including the granting of citizenship to individuals known to pose a risk to the United Nations. And that was presented by the Home Security Suella Bremen. I go back and I quote, "The new visa regime takes effect today, July 19, unquote, so with immediate effect." Quote, "We are today imposing a visa requirement on all visitors from Dominica, Honduras, Namibia, Timor-Leste, and Vanuatu." Ladies and gentlemen, I can continue reading the news item, but I invite you to visit MO News. Check out her stories, because MO is the leading news outlet, media outlet, communication outlet in Dominica, and I think she deserves your patronage. Read the entire story, get the details in terms of this particular story and others. But I think at this time, it is time that I introduce the leader of Team Unity Dominica, Carlos Charles, who will present our party's statement in reaction to the visa implementation, not necessarily responding to any other governing official. Our team is responding to the imposition on entry visas for Dominicans visiting the United Kingdom. And here now is Brother Carlos Charles with his statement.
Good afternoon, Alex. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon to our TUD fans, good afternoon to our Dominicans. Please allow me to present our team's response to the visa imposition on. And nice to have you hosting again, Alex.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to host my friend anytime for you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put you full screen so you can do your presentation. And when you're done, I will share again so we can have a little wrap if you do not mind.
Yes.
All right. So let's do your full screen and you could go ahead with your presentation.
Dominica stands almost motionless between the crucial crossroads. One road takes citizens to progress, another leads to despair. One where majority is helplessly devoted to the minority's agenda. The third road leads to self-centered political ambition led by a government whose leaders promote their will, against the people's wishes. The fourth road leads to success, which seems clear, but only visited by a few progressive people. More Dominicans want to walk towards a path of progress, but the path which promotes the government's ideals is lit with temporary glimmer, which shines dimmer for some than for others. For those whom the light flickers bright, they stay the path of the government, and for those who see the dim light, keep chasing it with hopes of seeing a brighter day. Fellow Dominicans, we should determine our path. We need to decide what road we are going to take. For too long, we have been directed upon a path which has not benefited us, a path with tremendous cost to us. This is why I am here to say that we should choose progress. Let us take the road which leads to a progressive future because we are a progressive people with a bias for success. Friends, sisters, and brothers, fellow Dominicans, we have allowed our nation's sovereignty to be waged to the highest bidder, and sometimes it has been exchanged for remittances which we do not benefit from. Friends, sisters, and brothers, fellow Dominicans, have we ever taken the time to ponder on the question, what is the cost of our sovereignty? If we haven't, we should, because there is a price that has been placed on Dominica's sovereign assets, which has seriously cheapened and undervalued what it means to be Dominican. The national passport is the main tool of Dominica's sovereignty. The passport is used to gain entry into other countries, so it is the emblem of international connectivity. Can we place a price on our sovereignty? If not, why does our government sell our nation's priceless sovereign asset in such a willy-nilly manner? As a team, TUD understands the sense in engaging other citizens in our program of economic citizenship. However, it is not just acceptable that our passports could be so recklessly and frequently placed in the hands of so many questionable characters. I won't relitigate the many instances where our passports found themselves in the hands of nefarious actors, but we simply cannot ignore the most recent episode where England has slapped visa requirements on Dominicans. Why? What is the cost of this decision on our people? Did we not see this coming? And what are we going to do about it now? England's decision to slap a visa entry on Dominicans, or the entry visa on Dominicans, is a matter of grave concern. This should really give us a cause to pause. We need to decide how far and for how long we should let this go on. We must decide whether we work collectively to restore the dignity of Dominica's sovereignty or whether we just class this episode as yet another political event of us against them. Sisters and brothers, fellow Dominicans, and friends of Dominica, I ask again, what is the value of Dominica's sovereignty? What does it really mean to be Dominican? Have we and are we now doing injustice to this majestic land of our birth? Do we appreciate the true value of birthright citizenship? Do we ponder upon, or do we even listen to the words of Dominica's national song and pledge when we recite them? If we did, we would know the real value of Dominica's sovereignty. Fellow Dominicans, our Isle of Beauty that boasts of pleasures beyond compare needs her sons and daughters to ponder on which gifts that God has given us and do something about preserving these gifts, which are indeed rich and rare. Every time we sing the national anthem and we recite our pledge, we should ponder on the value of the Dominican passport. There is something very special about our passport. In fact, there is something very special about any nation's passport. A country's passport is its people identity placed in their hands. The Dominican passport is Dominicans' most treasured gift. We need to preserve this gift and maintain its value, but we are in worrying times. It seems as if some do not understand, or probably they do not appreciate the value and significance of the Dominican passport. We do. The chief executive of our nation delivered a national address on the matter of visa imposition on Dominica by England, as he should. But one did not get the sense by listening to this address that much if anything will change. Well, things must and should change. In a TUD government, we will cease with immediate effect the sale of diplomatic passports and positions. Every Dominican diplomat under Team Unity government will be a bona fide Dominican citizen of good character. We will place our own in such positions of trust. And yes, we will work with friends of Dominica as well, those who possess good and honorable intentions for our land. But with all this mess, will our nation's passport come to an abrupt end if TUD is honored with the people earn? Let me take that again. But with all this mess, with our nation passport, all this mess that's going on right now, it will come to an abrupt end if TUD is honored with the people's power to serve in government. Fellow Dominicans, under TUD government, transparency will be restored to the greatly reduced CBI program, and our policy goal is to regain ownership of the program and to eventually phase it out completely. While some form of economic interest in Dominican citizenship should be maintained, additional international norms and standards will guide TUD's External Citizenship Initiative, ECI, and a regime of laws will guide its stewardship. For instance, no Dominican ECI citizenship will be able to vote if they do not permanently reside on island. We will disclose more in our party's 2027 general elections manifesto, but I could not help but raise this here and now. Fellow Dominicans, if TUD was in office today and I was its leader, I would have traveled to England with haste to meet with British authorities, and I would pledge to the world that Dominican CBI program would be fixed, and it will be fixed immediately. It is our view that the CBI program is like a runaway train. If it is not so, then why is it encountering so many issues? It begs me to ask the question, is our government really in control of Dominican CBI program? The truth is, we the people are the ones who owns Dominican sovereignty, so we need to claim it. If the government won't act, the people should and will. We are asking the people to think about what is special about Dominica, reflect on our country's past, and envision her future. Are we confident that Dominica has done well, is currently doing well, and will do well in the future? Is this lackadaisical attitude of trading away our sovereignty allowed to continue? Dominica does not stand alone in the world. Dominica does not stand alone in the Americas. Dominica does not stand alone in the Caribbean. Dominica does not stand alone in the OACS. Dominica does not stand alone in CARICOM. Dominica does not stand alone in the Windward of Islands. Dominica does not stand alone in the League of Nations. So why must our leaders pretend as if we are detached from the ethics which governs the League of Nations? Yes, we are sovereign, but with that comes tremendous responsibilities. Other nations are sovereign as well, and we ought to respect their sovereignty, and they must respect ours. This means, therefore, that the value of sovereignty lies in the people's respect for each other, in the way we protect our identities, how we embrace our uniqueness and celebrate our differences, how we value traditions while holding on to new ideas and culture, how we preserve what is truly Dominican. As I end, let me say that there is value and cost. Cost is the value placed on an item, but value can be infinite. So while the cost of Dominica's national sovereignty may be negotiated down to a few $1,000s, it is not the real value of our nationhood. We trade our passport at greater cost to the Dominican citizen. Every time the government sells a passport, it cheapens the Dominican citizenship. As I disclosed earlier, TUD will not sell passports. We will embark upon a mutual respected initiative, the External Citizenship Initiative, which will bring sanity to the present CBI. We believe that our government has done enough, and now it is time for a new direction for our nation and its people. Let us hope that this latest visa restriction episode sparks our interest in doing better. But based on the track records of existing parties and individuals involved in the governance of state, those who have traded and intended or promised to trade our passport, TUD's Fresh Start ECI initiative will navigate away from the past. Our program will restore value to Dominican sovereignty and pride to our nation and people. TUD stands for and with Dominica, and we ask that you stand with us. I thank you.
Yes, I. Well, this, Carlos, is a mammoth speech. I honestly think this speech is a game changer, my dear friend and brother and comrade and partner. I see you in a whole new different light. This was statesmanly, just commanding, emotional at times, very sound, futuristic, proactive. Carlos, I'm really, really, really proud of you, my friend. This is an amazing speech. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Permit me to interject here. We have a guest on the panel with us, and
Oh, you had
I
invite
would just
somebody?
want to. Yes, I did.
Okay.
He is a guy that is passionate about the making Dominica better. He has been on contributing in his way, and he's gaining popularity. He's a man from the northeast.
Oh, my countryman.
It's not resident. Yes, he's your countryman.
Okay.
And please allow me to indulge Mr. Moderator. Allow me to invite
Yes.
Mr. Richie Ricardo.
Good. Can you guys hear me this afternoon?
But of course, of course.
Good
Very
afternoon. Good
great.
afternoon.
What's going on?
Good
Nice to see
afternoon,
you.
bro.
Nice to see you.
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
And
fine as well.
I'd like to apologize for last week for not being able to attend. I had prior engagements that came up out of the blue. So when they come, I have to deal with it at the same time.
No problem, man. That's great. I'm happy that you're joining today and as a guest of our leader. I
Yeah,
hope you
man.
heard the speech because
Yeah, I was.
if you didn't hear the speech, I'll be sad. Did you hear the speech?
Yes, I was listening to the speech. Yes, I
Okay,
was.
wonderful. So
Yeah.
probably I should ask you to react before I say anything else. What you thought of the speech and recommendations, even before we actually get into the discussion.
Whose speech? The speech that the Prime Minister gave, or Carlos's
No,
speech,
the
the
speech
future
that
Prime
Carlos
Minister?
gave, yeah.
The
I
future
mean,
Prime Minister.
you heard both, right? You heard the prime ministers,
Yes, sir.
but you didn't hear Carlos's.
I heard Carlos's as well. I was listening to it on the live. I shared it as well. So
Well,
yes.
Ricardo, deal with both, man. If you want to talk about Carlos's, we prefer that. If you want to talk about his for a few minutes, we don't mind that at all. It's your
Well,
call.
I
You're
spoke
Dominican.
about his already on my platform. I don't wanna bore you guys with it again on this one.
We can give a synopsis, a wrap up of highlights of it, and then would like if you could treat Carlos' speech with your honesty, whatever you think, after you deal with the PM's speech in one of
Well,
the sentences.
the PM speech to me, I find it rather an embarrassment to our nation. It did not really address the problem that is placed in our hands here right now at the moment of
Yeah.
our citizenship being sold to individuals who are criminals overseas and trying to enter England or enter other countries, and we are getting revoked. I even said on my platform that I think that America might revoke our entry as well pretty soon if we keep on with this program. And but I am not in charge of anything, but I state that's my opinion. That's how I feel that would be where the result will take an end to. Because if England imposes restrictions, somebody else is gonna follow,
Yeah.
and after one follows, they're gonna all follow, and they are the world powers, so they all follow each other.
Hmm.
So it's
Which
based on.
which is the same point I actually made on my program earlier. I mean, you're a bright guy. You're pretty much understanding what's happening. Some people don't see it that way. They think Dominica is its own sovereign country and can do whatever it wishes. But no, I mean, there is a global order, and there are some powerful units in the world that can cripple our future.
Yes, sir.
And the behavior of our government is just feeding into that. So you're right. You're right.
And then I was also listening to Carlos's speech where he said that he would put an end to the CBI program selling to diplomats, which I think is a very good point, because how many diplomats do we have in Dominica, or how many diplomats is that information disclosed to the general public? How many citizens by investment do we currently have here now? Are we gonna do investigations into seeing they're checking on their backgrounds? Is these things like, what are the steps are we gonna implement to get rid of this program, or to weed out the people who are coming under false pretenses to get our citizenship to enter countries that they are not allowed to enter into? So those are the things that I think, as Carlos stated in his statement, that we would look into. So I am very much on board with some of his speech points, and I am willing and able to listen and learn from what you guys have to say, because I think that the program is a good program, but it has to really be for the people, and transparency is needed so that the people are aware of what is really taking place and who is having their citizenship, what's the money being used for their citizenship and investment.
Well, I think I could have said it better than you. I think you actually share my sentiments as well, especially with the highlight of Carl's speech, which I think is that thing, the fact that you identified the cessation of the sale of diplomatic positions, because that is a problem. I mean, we have a number of questionable diplomats, and that has become a major issue.
Mhm.
People who are bona fide Dominicans should be the ones to be diplomats, people in with good character and good standings. And it is because of the lack of that, that's why we have visa restrictions on Dominica today. So I think your point is well taken, and the point that Carlos makes is also very well made.
Uh,
The, go ahead, Carlos.
Guys, if I were to think back, not to this parliament, but to the previous parliament, questions were brought up by senator from um, the Kalinago regarding the passports. And you could see that the response that our government that we place there to represent our interests, they were doing everything in their power, and including the Speaker of the House, to avoid putting that information on the record. the questions about our passports and how it is being sold. And when we look at social media, it's flooded with passport promoters. I was telling somebody, it they have the passports on the table like the fish market in Kokole,
Yeah,
fellas
I
passing by
see.
the road,
I
and,
saw that
and,
picture.
and how much passport sit down on the table. Really,
So
the
how is that?
big countries which we look up to or should be looking up to, they don't do that. And they also have citizenship investment program. And the program itself, it's called a citizenship by investment. Where is the investment? Where is it? Do we see
Well,
any investment?
well,
Or we
some
see
of,
money collecting,
well, they have.
money collecting certain but here the direction I'm coming from, Professor Bruno, the direction I'm coming from. It's the designation of it. When our deceased Prime Minister David Junior Child, she's the one who started it. I'm correct or am I
Yes,
wrong?
yes.
When it was started, the intention of it was to create employment opportunities for our Dominicans. So the persons who are afforded the opportunity of receiving Dominican citizenship, they should be investing in the country. Yes, there are costs associated with obtaining the passport, but there's also the investment aspect of it as well, and there's not enough emphasis placed on that. Yes, we have some hotels, and by and large, it looks like the sale of the passports, it's what's being used for building the hotels. But where is the real investment? Do we see that?
So the people pretty much use the
Other
instrument.
countries,
So you're saying they just use
yes,
the instrument, money, use the money to build the project. So there is no major investment per se. There's no risk. You just
no, but there's no investment.
okay.
It's not meeting its objective. Yes, we're seeing hotels being built. Yes, you're saying that you're going to use it. Well, we're not even sure right now. And I sure Cardo have that as his question on that, the international airport. You say you're going to build airport with CBI funds. Huh? But where is invest? Who is putting the money for investment projects? Where are the factories for all the mangoes that are bringing flies on the ground all over the place? The oranges, the cocoas, the development of the cocoa. Go ahead. These things make me. I'm passionate about that, Alex and
Yeah, well,
Ricardo.
no,
It makes me real angry that people who should know better are not doing better. And it happens, and you have persons offering to to it's alleged offering to sell passports, and they're not even sitting in the seat of power. So what is what do we care about for Dominica? Where is it?
well, I think you ask a very important question as to is the government really in control of the program? I'm not too sure, Ricardo, what you think, because it just feels to me as if there's some regulation that's needed, there is some ownership, and somehow that program, I think, is in problems the way that's been going. So before you even answer, Ricardo, and that's another problem that's going to emerge for all these visa requirement into enter England, of course, the ripple effect is going to affect the business around the passport. It's going to clamp down on the investments that the passport is going to be igniting, including the international airport. So in Wesley, we have some problems on our hands because lands have been claimed and are being used and are settled by people from other nations with the intention to assist the development of the infrastructure. Now that we have a different challenge on our hand, a diplomatic problem on our hand, we may not be able to sell the passports. Well, I don't like to say in sell the passports, but we'll not be able to use the passports to get the investment for the airport. Ricardo, what happens now, especially for our brothers in Wesley?
Well, let us answer this first. If we are supposedly going to be building an airport, and why don't you this might be off topic a little bit, but why don't we haven't paid all the folks that lands that we have acquired if we are doing undertaking such a big investment as far as construction of an airport? The prime minister stated that there's 1.2 billion or 1.5 billion dollars being utilized for the construction of that airport. The funds have where the funds come from. They said the CBI money. How it kind of mind bubbles me a little bit in that sense. Like we don't know where the funds are coming from. We don't know who invested, and are these people gonna get returns on their investment? Because if I invest money, I expect a profit at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
So
Hmm.
is there some form of returns on this thing that is gonna be? Where is it gonna come from with these returns? Is the people on the back end gonna have to pay for this, or what? So it raises a lot of questions. It also makes me sit back and wonder: are we gonna be in trouble at the end of the day in Dominica? And go ahead, I'm listening.
No, 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 go ahead. I was going to make a point, but I don't want to lose the trend. I was saying that Carlos actually made a very important point in terms of the investment component. Are we really having investors invest, put money, and take risks? Or are we having people using our assets to get money? So I don't think there's any investment per se. There is probably the use of our passport to collect money.
Okay.
And the way that is done is that the passport is exchanged to people who have money, who are able to purchase or to get a hold of the passports, and the earnings from that is being used to reinvest in the airport. That's to me. I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but
Hmm.
this is how it seems the program works. It is not like
Okay.
a billionaire getting citizenship and giving money to develop the airport. That's not how it is. Is that how it is, Ricardo?
Well, that I'm not privy to, but if the word CBI is citizen by investment, so I'm expecting if I give you money, if I give you $100,000 to start a business to build an airport, don't you think I want to get some form of returns from that investment? Even if it's a 10%, I don't know how they develop their contracts. I haven't seen a contract to say how they do their investment, their CBI program by. But I'm assuming on a standard investment program, there's some form of clause saying that you're gonna get a 10% return on your investment, or 5%, or whatever percentage on your investment. That's a normal contract. That's how a normal business deal is done, especially for investors. And if we are not privy to these informations, I believe that, like you said, our stuff is being sold, and we might not they might be giving them land, they might be giving them ownership to certain things that we are not privy to. So what is going on? What is the deals? Why is it so private? I think this program should be more transparent so our people could really have an idea as to what is going on. And I think that there should be some form of investigation into it to get some clarification about it. That's my whole gist of this program needs to be revisited and reinvented, revamped, or not revamped, but really looked at the people who are really doing the investment, or who's giving the money, who's getting our passports. Are they what is their background? Because as Carlos stated earlier, the passports are on a table being sold. Is there really an investigation being done into the people who are buying them from the table?
I mean, I saw the pictures before Carlos jumped in. I saw the pictures, and Ricardo, and if these are real videos and pictures, and I think they are, my God, man, I mean, really, how, I mean, really, is that, I mean, because I know America has a program, but
Yes.
you don't see that. I mean,
No.
that, I mean, and I know Carlos have a thing or two to say about TOD's plan in terms of what the party will do in office to revamp this program that you're calling for. So you're going to hear a little bit about the plan today, Ricardo. But I mean, how could we so callously display our sovereignty as a product for sale on a
Ah,
table with a
okay.
salesman in the way that
Mm,
we have been doing? I mean, this is a problem right there. It is a
as,
problem.
that is the problem. Does that
So,
salesman
so
does that salesman own citizenship here in Dominica as well?
I don't know. I thought you were going to come to answer these questions for us, Ricardo. Even before, I wanted you to deal with the Wesley part of it because you're from Wesley.
Yes.
The fact that the construction is moving on, at least places things are happening. How does that impact Wesley? Because I know lots of money was flowing in the village. No, you said that people will not pay for their houses, right? For their
Yeah,
land.
I'm one of the people that haven't received payment for their property.
You know, wow. So that's so. Where is the money for the project? If the project started, there should be money at least to pay for the property.
To pay for the property. And that's my point. Exactly. Like you building something and you haven't paid the people who you're taking their properties from. How are we doing that? Are we going backwards? And I've even noticed that they have not completed the testing on the ground as far as making sure that the soil samples have been, the soil is adequate enough to take this airport. They have not completed that. Suppose they meet in the middle of this soil testing thing and they say, oh, well, we can't complete the airport here because the soil isn't good. What's going to be the next step?
Oh well, what would be the next step is that the land would have already been taken and acquired and occupied by different people, and it stays in the hands of the state or the people who are on the land, and therein lies the problem. So your land, your property that you have not been paid for, if it is occupied by people based on what I'm seeing, there are buildings and structures in place, and I think it's habitation units or whatever you call them, but people are living in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Many
Mm-hmm.
people. um, that is the other level of issue that can emerge from
Yeah.
lands that have not yet been settled. I mean, you just say, Ricardo, that you have not been paid.
No, I have not.
We have a problem. We have a catastrophe on our hands. I also asked Carlos the other day because Carlos is on island. I'm not. I asked him, how does it look in Wesley? Is money flowing in Wesley? Because
Not
if
at
there was a,
all.
no,
Not at all. Not at all. The people who was living in the Pulpa area, I'm sure you're familiar with Pulpa, right?
yes,
Good. Most of them have moved up to the new development area that they have
Joe
created.
Burton,
Yeah, Joe Button area, right? But there are
yes.
some folks still living in the Pulpa area who have not received their funds. There's current people with businesses there, and their business right now is struggling due to the fact that the people who was living there helping them sustain their business is no longer there.
uh-oh.
You get what I'm saying?
Because I honestly, guys, honestly felt that because the airport was being built in Wesley, there must be some economic boom in Wesley. The
There's
business
no
is making
economy.
money and everything else. So that's not happening.
There is no economic boom in West. No.
Oh, well, we have a
I
problem.
passed in Wesley on Friday. I passed it on Friday, and Wesley is practically a dead village.
Yes, it is.
The
Yes.
the the area um on the entrance of the village where you used to see guys congregating and guys like a vibrant area. I saw two guys standing there.
Yeah, that's no
Maybe it was.
longer.
I'm just assuming it's probably the time of day that I was passing through the village. But I'm a customer passing through those areas, and so many people congregating in the night and day, like Maho. The village never sleeps. And if you pass Maho past a certain time, the village sleeping. There's no activity going on.
Because
Nothing.
I believe the population has drained. People are being frustrated and they are leaving the Commonwealth of Dominica. After Maria, there was approximately about 15 to 20,000 people who left after Maria, the hurricane. I'm one of those people who left after the hurricane. And I mean, I go back to Dominica very frequently. I was in Dominica 2 times already for the year, and I have another trip to do again. But I'm just saying, like,
Alex, he do anything better than you. Eh?
Yeah, he beat me this year. For this year. Next year I'll take him in terms of my frequency to the island. Yeah.
so okay, I go to Dominica frequently due to the fact that we have a business in Dominica. My family runs a funeral home there, so I'm in Dominica very, very often because of that reasoning. So I tend to look at what is going on. I even went One day I even tried to go do a live to ask a question at the office that they had set up in Wesley for the project management thing. And when I went, the office was closed. Then I was later on the task force was also sent there to meet me. And I was like, well, what's the purpose of this? I'm only here just to ask a question about my land and my money. And that's the response that I'm getting. So, and I wasn't there causing no scene, I wasn't there making no uproar or anything. And that's what I received when I went there. And who mobilizes the task force?
Well, I guess the Minister of National Security. Mainly, I think, isn't he the one in charge? Yeah, I guess.
So me asking a question is a matter of national security to mobilize the task force?
Well, I don't know, man.
Were you being
Were you a security threat? Did you have
No.
a grenade or something? Did you have a firearm? Whatever. No.
That's what they claimed. They claimed and said that I said on my live that I was gonna go there and bomb. That's what they claimed and said.
You wouldn't have done that.
But why would I go on live and say that?
And the task force give you the full service, the full treatment?
No, they, they didn't give me the full treatment. But at the end of the day, they came.
Yeah. Because they have been known to be a bit, involved. They can touch people sometimes and so on.
No, I didn't receive that kind of treatment.
Which is not in keeping with the standards, of policing. But that's another topic for another time. But let me say something. Because me, our Wesley man, our Wesley, my grandpapa come out.
Eh.
Grandfather Nibs Alexander is a Wesley man. Me, our Wesley man. My grandmama, Manela, a Wesley woman. That is my village. It's just sad that what I'm hearing, because I do not live on island permanently, that what I'm hearing, and I trust you, Carlos, and you, Ricardo, with the information that you're offering, that things are not buoyant, it's not bubbling, there's no flow, there is no major activity in Wesley.
No.
Well, there is activity, but not for Wesley people. I'm seeing a lot of people who are not from Wesley living now in Wesley and probably having a good time. But the Wesley people,
they're not having a good time.
All right. So I go by your words and I'll repeat what you say. That is not a good picture. No, something is wrong. That something is wrong. We need to find out what's happening with the project. And that is a serious problem. And then we have
before I touch back on the passport. I touch back on the passport. On that airport thing. I'm not sure in which forum I said that, but I said that on a previous forum that the biggest infrastructure project that will touch Dominica and that we will ever see. You're telling us that it is being done right now. I expect when I'm passing through Wesley that I would see a whole set of activity going on, a whole set of people in Wesley people and being employed. Instead of that, I see limited activity, very, very slim. I passed where they were putting up a fence, barricading the road.
But Carlos, you're talking about Wesley. Dominica is a small country. The entire nation should be paved with benefits.
No, I'm just touching one area.
No, a project of that magnitude should impact the entire economy of the entire country, not just Wesley. Wesley should be the paradise of Dominica now.
Yes, sir.
But I'm hearing from you guys that's not the case.
It's not the case.
So we have a problem.
It's not the case.
We have a problem.
On the passport thing now, look at what's going on in terms of the promises that were made to the persons that we sold the passports to. The premise that you would be able to access the UK freely with no problems. Now that this visa thing has been imposed on Dominicans, because they are Dominicans as well. They paid to be Dominicans. Is there any backlash that we should expect from our new citizens because we promised them something and they're not getting it again. Quid
It,
pro
it, it,
quo.
it might be a lot of backlash due to the fact that they can't get the access, or the reason they put the main reason for them buying their citizenship was for basically for entry into the UK, and now that they can't enter, they are gonna possibly want their money back.
Hmm. I hope there's a clause that protects the country from that, boy.
And can we even sustain such a backlash if there isn't a clause saying that you can't get your money back? You know, you might not be able to get your deposit, but your sums that you paid, is there a clause protecting the country from that? You know?
Ricardo, in terms of the
So, so,
responsible,
so
go ahead,
you get,
Ricardo. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying you get where my thinking is going because I think that is a big risk to the country. We make certain promises, risky as they were, and now we're unable to meet up to those promises.
That is another
What
excuse.
happens now?
That is a perfect excuse. We wait for the authorities to say, well, it's none of our fault. England did that. They don't like us, so we can't build the airport. That's a very perfect excuse. I would end that so nicely if I was on that side. That's it already. That's it. That's the exit strategy.
Yes, sir. We don't have no more money. The money have
That's
to pay back.
it. That, that is it. An airport project die. But I'm
Oh
not wishing that it
God.
does, and I hope it really goes on. But that's a very easy exit.
Don't give the people and them reasoning to use to exit the program, please.
Well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. So now, Carlos, now,
I should not have brought that up.
yeah, now, Carlos, now, probably you need to, if you can, spend a couple of minutes to go into TUD's idea in terms of a national CBI, and it's not going to CB, it's not going to be called CBI with community team. It's going to be called a different name. So tell us the name and break down the idea in terms of how the program will work for the new Dominicans who would have been part of the economic initiatives if it were Team Unity Dominica in office today. So
Well,
in a way,
the program would be ECI initiative, not CBI, and that would not be the selling of Dominica's passport as is done right now. As a matter of fact, on the CBI government, on the TUD government, sorry, we would not be selling passports. Instead, we'll be providing a pathway to citizenship, which is something that should be done, which is something that is done internationally. The bigger countries, they don't sell their passports. You can give America, which they do. They allow people to they have a citizenship initiative, which they receive money from reputable persons. They do have those programs, but they provide you a pathway to the full citizenship. You first given a green card. You continue traveling on your on your passport, continue traveling on your current passport, and you allowed to live in the country and work, which is what you supposed you come to invest. You have to do an investment. So they have their restrictions. They tell you have to employ a certain amount of people. These are the direction that the community government would be looking at. That's the sort of direction, and not just give us $100,000 and
you get
and
a
come
passport.
and come and look at passport. So external citizenship initiative, ECIA, external citizenship initiative, will be a pathway to full citizenship. And probably we can look at when doing a national ID card. So the persons who become full residents and allowed to take part and contribute to the economy, pay taxes, contribute to the economy, and be residents of the country. You know,
So in
allow
that case,
them to integrate with us.
so in that case, we should not use the national ID to vote. Probably it has been a bad idea, and it continues to be a bad idea because the
No,
non.
no, but that's but voting with a national ID, it should never be the idea. You should have a
Okay,
voter's ID.
yeah.
A voter's ID. The electoral office issues the voter's ID, controls
To
the
every
voting
eligible voter,
system.
every eligible voter. And
Yeah.
and if every Dominican is eligible, every Dominican should have one. But every Dominican is not eligible. And you're
No,
saying that there will be a path to citizenship, so people would be holding a
ah,
national ID with not a
correct.
passport, and they spend some time, like I guess happens in America, because when you have the green card, you need to go a few years, 5 years before. Although Carlos,
Wait,
well,
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
although Carlos, there are certain categories of citizenship in America that you can get it within a quicker time. For instance, if you decide to join the armed forces, military, I think you,
Naturally,
yes,
naturally,
yeah,
with
but
everything, there are exigent circumstances. There's an extreme case to everything. So naturally, you would have areas where you'll be
fast
able
track
to fast
citizenship,
track.
yeah.
Yeah, but
But,
not just willy nilly do it to come look your passport and it.
or have
Really,
a passport delivered to you on the tarmac in your hand and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
okay.
really.
So what do you think about that, Ricardo? A path to citizenship in terms of people who are interested in the program, have some years, if they live in Dominica, register, they can vote. But you cannot just expect to vote from anywhere because you have a Dominica passport, which can be done, which is the case now. Anybody with a Dominica passport, citizen can vote right now.
But I have one question before we even answer that one. Are the Chinese citizens who are not, or the Chinese people who are now coming into Dominica, some of them getting the citizen by investment program as well? Are they allowed to vote?
Yes,
Well, as long as you have a passport, you're a
yes.
Dominican, you can vote.
And many Chinese vote in Roseau Central last election. Many. As long as you have it and you're a citizen, it is being
Oh,
said, and it's been said boldly that you can vote. And they have voted. Yes.
and they have voted. Okay.
Last election for sure, yeah.
So what was the question you were asking me before that? Then it
I
kind of
was asking
threw
you
me off.
how you find the path to citizenship in terms of not having the right to do everything every Dominican can do instantly, but a pathway that leads maybe a few years into getting the passport so you can get your permit, you can work, you have your ID, a national ID, but the passport component of things should be delayed until you would have spent the time as
Mhm.
everybody else does in other countries. The standard.
I believe that would be a better way to go about doing things. Because here in America, you don't just get citizenship. You gotta get a green card. And you can't stay out of the country more than 6 months, except for extravagant circumstances where you have to write and ask permission. There's certain criteria you have to meet. You don't just get it and, oh yeah, you have a passport, and you apply today, tomorrow you get a passport. No, you have to follow steps. If there is no steps in the process is gonna go sideways. If you ever build a house and just start from the roof and come down,
No.
you have to build a foundation. So I believe our foundation is off. We probably don't have a foundation, and we need to go back and revisit and redo and start things over again, and probably revoke all those people who already have the citizenship program, and let them start over again.
So a total revocation.
Uh, well, I wouldn't say total revocation, but at least create some steps to where they gain it back, and
Yeah,
put in
probably
some
to
requirements in there.
yeah, probably an audit. What is
Yes.
a citizen? Like, okay, you are good. We have a list of you, so we know where you are. Whatever the case might be, but not probably to revoke everybody because that might be a bit
Extreme,
No,
but
no, no,
extreme.
no, no,
uh, but
no.
it got
Because
steps
by
to
and
the
large, they are Dominicans. They are Dominicans. So you can't you, for example, just now you want to take away ordinary Dominican citizenship, man. No, We won't go
because
that route.
they're equal to every other Dominican, including
Yep.
the citizens of America who were not who became citizens too. But the problem is now, Ricardo, again, when we have resource like you have to ask questions. Um, how does that? What does that mean, though, for the average Dominican who live on an island? Does the people who have the money and they have the greater numbers? Because I think Dominicans who were born in Dominica could become a minority citizen soon, if we are not yet a minority citizen in
Yep.
our country. How is that going to affect us when another country has more people who were not born in Dominica as our citizens live, well, as citizens of Dominica? How does that affect the Wesley people and them? Speak to the grassroots people and them from Wesley.
Well, it's gonna affect us far as job wise, jobs, because look at this. We build in the airport, and how many Wesley young people are working at that airport? Most of them probably under NEP, and they're liable not to work at NEP pretty soon if they say anything wrong, if they say anything out of the way that doesn't align with what the government has them to say. So the Chinese are gonna take over. I would assume that they, and first thing, they don't support local businesses. You would never see them in your shop buying a cricks, a crackers, a juice, because they will create their own shops, and pretty soon we the Dominican people gonna be going in their shop to make groceries, in their buildings to buy whatever we need. If that making sense to you, because they are gonna take over the economy. Our economy is gonna become now totally, because their goods gonna be cheaper because they're bringing it in without taxes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas the Wesley shopman might have to pay a couple more extra dollars on his tax. The Chinese gonna be due tax free. So now their stuff is gonna be cheaper.
And they'll be able to bring in volume.
All
Whereas
right.
whereas the Wesley man had to wait for the quick truck to
To
pass to
pass.
buy.
Buy retail to sell on retail. That is the
To-
kind of money we buy in retail and sell in retailing.
okay then.
So Ricardo, so are the Chinese really setting up shop in Wesley? Are they really living? Are they,
Well,
residing?
okay. I can't say they're setting up shop, but I am saying that the possibility of that is great, because people in the area are not showing an initiative, or not being given any initiative to do anything. I don't have, they remember, they don't have no work, they have no money, they have no income. So how can I buy stuff if I don't have no income? You get to my point there now.
Yeah.
If we're not working, if we had to always go and ask, okay, Alex is the prime minister, we have to go and ask the prime minister, or ask the power rep, or ask somebody for a money to think, how are we gonna survive as a people? If you're following my point here now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
how are we gonna survive? We have no economical sustainability. We are not entrepreneur. We have no entrepreneurship at this moment in our community of West.
Wow.
Every business that we have is failing due to the fact that everybody has to go and beg for a dollar. Nobody is showing an initiative to go back to their farm to do anything.
So how soon will it be for the average Wesley person to realize that the way you're seeing it now? Or do you think they have seen it already?
They have seen it, but like again, I just said, they're scared to talk, because if they talk, they might be victimized
You're talking scared to talk publicly, you mean? But they
publicly.
would,
They will talk
yes,
in private. They will
private.
talk and they will talk and they will tell you that they're staying in private. But to come and make it publicly known that they're hurting on the inside, they are scared.
So so they may not talk, but do you not think that they would really vote another team into office if they had the chance to do it?
If they have proper representation,
Wow.
if they have somebody that they can believe in,
Wow.
you get me?
Yeah.
Because they believe they don't. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I am not talking about Wesley per se. I'm talking about Dominica in general. Some people don't vote because of the person that's going up as their parliamentary representative. They vote because of the leader of the team. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of people vote because it's scary. The ultimate vote is scary. They're not voting power rep, or they're not voting Richie. They're voting scare it. If you follow my point.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have to come with somebody that Alex, I say Alex, Carlos, you have to be dynamic. You have to put yourself out there so that people know, Alex is the man, and Alex is the man we want in charge of Dominica. Because other than that, it's scary. No matter who you put there, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
You might get certain people to sway one in a while, but the
So we
ultimate
don't so we don't vote for representation anymore. We vote for that thing you're explaining, the
yeah,
symbol, the image.
yeah, the image, yeah, that's
But
what we
that's the
vote for.
problem. That herein lies the problem. If we continue voting that way, we have a problem. I mean, and you're right. I've heard the comment in some strongholds of the DLP. Grand Bay, Soufriere, Bay, Bush, and a few places where people tell me they don't even know who running for them. They really voting for the prime minister.
Yeah,
So that is true. What you're saying actually has been found on the ground to be the case. But is that in every constituency, you think, Richie?
I think it's in every constituency. It Okay, for instance, in Marigot, if workers had ran, just say if workers had ran in Marigot, do you think Tony would have won? Just a hypothetical.
No, but I
Okay
think
then.
I
No,
think I know he wouldn't have won, but I think he got the sentiments of workers. So he actually is a quasi workers representative. So in my view, because I'm not saying that he's a worker, but he got the blessing of the workers' vote. So he should be happy that he didn't run, and he should take advantage of it now that he's there and stay. He should not run. He should run again as an independent if he has to in the future.
And that's where I was saying the problem is, because if workers had a representative, they wouldn't be voting for representation. They'll be voting for
The party.
party.
Yeah.
And that's where our problem is. We do not vote for representation. I can come and give you all $1 million today, but tomorrow morning, if election is, all you're voting from me, all you're voting for party.
But hear that, but Joshua Francis ran in Roseau South, and he beat this guy. What's his name? Little man,
Ambrose,
Ambrose George.
Ambrose
I don't
George.
think, yeah, it wasn't party. I mean, yes, they vote party too, but it was more Joshua. It was more the man when he won in Roseau South.
How long ago was that?
Well, that was maybe 15 years ago.
Okay, then,
Um,
sir. Hearing again is the issue. That was
15,
15
20
years
years
ago.
ago, yeah.
Good. No, it's not about party. In Roseau, in Roseau, people have a little bit more difference because they have their own money. Some of them don't depend solely on the government to give them money. In these rural communities, we depend on our power ups to give us. A lot of us depend on the power up to come
But
and give
since
us.
when? But it has. But I know we used to vote for not for that before. My grandmother, may she rest well, she didn't know it that way. I mean, she loved highly Halibar, but she voted for her representatives.
Because the people had their own money in them times. Your grandmother, I'm sure she was a farmer.
Yeah, man.
Good. So at the end of the day, she wasn't dependent on nobody to give her nothing. So if she wanted to change her vote from labor to workers or from to freedom, she could have done that without no hesitation because of representation and not for party. But now we are dependent on party
Too many
giving
of us.
us.
Too many of us.
Yes.
So how are we going to change that, Richie? What do we do?
Well, that's why I said we have to come strong and we have to be influential in our community. We have
Yeah.
to make the people see our face, whether they want to see our face or not. I in your house every day. I on your TV. I on your Facebook. I on everything of yours every day. You have to hate me to like me. You get me?
Yeah.
You have to flood the market with you and you and you. If you don't flood in the market with you and you and you will never make it because the people already accustomed to one way of begging and
They must
getting.
be shown another way.
Yes.
So Carlos, you must be on the ground from tomorrow, my friend. Go on the ground, Carlos.
I'm already on the ground.
Okay, sorry.
So I can answer this to Carlos. Like for me, for instance, I am not looking for votes or anything, but I am in my community. I am here in America, but I'm in my community every which way I can. You get me? I am right now organizing well, not even for my community, but for the island of Dominica. For whoever wins, I'm doing a trivia night. I'm giving back laptop, iPad, books with bags with school supplies,
This
and
one.
$150 to the winners of my trivia question night that I'm planning on doing. So I'm not doing this just because I can do it. I'm doing it because I love my country, and I'm doing it because of what I am and who I believe in. You know.
And that's good. I'm happy that you're doing this. There are a lot of people who tell me I should forget about Dominica, give up. Dominicans don't deserve nothing good. A lot of my friends, people who I used to think were my friends, watching me and tell me I wasted my time.
No,
And they're telling Carlos that too. They're telling Carlos, give up, this and that. I mean, why do you give up on your country and say you love your country? I mean, should we give up, Ricardo? I mean,
if we give up, we will not have a country to call home.
okay.
And I want to have a. I don't like living in America personally. My personal preference. I hate being here. But in order for me to survive here right now, I have to be here.
Maybe you can go down and be prime minister, Ricardo. There's a vacancy. Because
But no, we already have a leader here. You know, I can't go and be prime minister. You know.
okay, okay. Just asking you, just checking. Because there's a vacancy, yeah, and the current prime minister can never be the prime minister forever. He is going to the meat office eventually. The people will get fed up of him. I think they almost, they should be getting fed up of him right now. Because after a while in the politics, the thing leaves you. Look at what happened in Grenada. Somebody like Carlos step up. That guy from Carlos is about same age of Carlos.
Yes,
Carlos is a bright
yes.
guy too. Carlos looks well. Look at how Carlos is dressed today. People underestimate you sometimes, and then the underdog,
Comes
Ricardo,
and beats.
exactly. So as I have been telling Carlos, he has been keeping me close. I've been keeping him close. Do not give up on your dream. You can become the next big thing in Dominica's politics. They might laugh at you today,
And
but
tomorrow
your
shake your
message,
hand.
exactly, your message today, Carlos, was the best political message I have heard in Dominica in a decade. That speech, and you should cut it out and post it by itself, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
It was an amazing speech, a responsible speech. You're not provoking anybody, not cursing anybody. You're talking about the well-being of our country. So I mean, we normally are on here, Ricardo, for an hour. We never really go beyond. Just because you're here today, we break our rules because this is a very interesting discussion, my friend. Um, so as we get ready to wrap up, Ricardo, let me ask you, as a young Dominican, someone that I know well from birth, I know because as I say, I'm a Wesley man. Um, I know things look daunting, and there are many people who are saying protest, fight, boots on the ground. That is the answer. From your lens, do you see that as the way to solve our political problems?
Um, in what year did we had that issue before? I can't remember the year when they were trying to free Patrick John from the prison.
So that would have been in the 70s, maybe 1978,
970 something, some
76,
79, 70, yeah,
79.
somewhere around there.
Yeah,
So did that work out well?
I don't think so.
Okay then. I
I
am
don't.
not saying that there might not be a time for everything under the sun, but if you're gonna do this, you have to do it with proper planning and proper preparation. You can't just go and say boots on the ground and then tomorrow morning you get other foreign countries to come and lend aid to
To the
Dominican
states.
police, and then this whole thing gets disbanded again. You have to you I am saying that with proper planning and preparation, we put our heads together and we do it in a civil manner. Civility might be the key to this whole, because if you go with violence, you will get violence. And I don't think we're ready for the violence that could come, because remember all these CARICOM leaders, most of these countries in the Caribbean right now are under a labor regime. Most of them. I'm not sure if I'm talking facts or not, but I
And
think
even if they are not, they all protect the power and the status quo.
good.
So
So
they have a duty to come in to fix the problem of the state if there is riots and lawlessness.
all right then. So at the end of the day,
Mhm.
you will be fighting a losing battle. You go do it that way. I think I think coming in with sound mind, good leadership, good representation in the constituencies, you stand a better chance. of winning or of change than to go with violence.
Well, it's a
That's
thing.
my opinion.
Well, and I respect it. Like actually, it is in tandem with mine. It's something that I've been saying all along. That is not the route. For you to go that route, you need an army stronger than the state army
Yes,
and
sir.
all the CARICOM member state put together, because
Yes, sir.
they will fight to protect the status quo,
Hmm.
and they will
You
kill.
need Putin to come and help you.
You have to get no, not Putin, no, but you have to get America. You have to get them bombs that Ukraine is getting now
I just use it as a metaphor. I don't mean it literally. I mean
yeah.
literally.
And
But
China
but
would not help
but
you, because
but
China will not defend who's in office right now, but they
Yes,
supposed
sir.
to protect the status quo. And China, that's
Hmm.
how it works. So the Chinese military will not work for you in your position.
Except if they see that they can control you as the leader.
Oh yeah. Carlos, can they
Except
control you?
except if they see you as a puppet. Other than that, other than that, you don't stand a chance.
Yeah. So Ricardo, thank you,
yeah,
man.
but, but
You are an amazing talent. I mean, you speak with great command and wisdom. I'm really proud of you as a Northeast man myself, as a Wesley man myself. I have to follow you like a live, but speaking with you one on one gives me a nice feeling about you. I'm hoping, my friend, that you can join us. Just have casual conversations like that. Talk about the issues whenever you have the time,
Yeah.
and to let people see your perspective, your point of view. Because I'm Ricardo and Carlos. One of the things I observe in our politics is that there are a lot of stale messengers saying the same stale message over and over again,
Over.
and the people don't really recognize them too much. That's why I think the prime minister is in office for so long, because those who are promoting themselves as the replacement does not measure up to the people's fancies. And I think if well,
No, go ahead. I'm listening. And after
and I think if and when we get a responsible group of people, civil-minded people who are going to the trenches, meeting the people, responding to the people the way that you suggest, Richie, I think Dominicans will amass vote,
they
and
will move.
they will move and do something progressive. That's what I think. I don't know what you think.
I was listening to it's Kyrie, whichever program has the hang. I think it was last night.
Hey, Kyrie.
Yeah, they were talking last night, and I'm like, there's this person I was listening to saying, that the prime minister does a good job in whatever in responding to crisis.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right, he does a good job in responding to crisis, but the crisis at hand, he did not even address it in his speech. So how is he going to respond to this crisis here in general? And that's just my opinion. I like people support what they people support, and they understand that that people can require different and require changes, and see something different. Even if let's say you get a change and it doesn't work, you can go back to what you already know.
Yeah.
But
Change it again.
change is something
It should be continued.
required. Change is something that's required.
In a democracy in particular, there is no way, Ricardo and Carlos, any government, any party should be in government for 20 plus years. That is just ridiculous. It's ludicrous. Even if you support the party, you cannot want to have one group of people controlling a democracy for so long.
Okay, good.
It just doesn't make sense. But if you say that, some people get against you. You cannot always have it all. You have to change in a democracy.
Yeah,
As you say, you change, you keep changing, you keep changing, you keep changing. But it cannot be that one set of people want to be there forever. No, man, that can't be right. That's why we do this program. That's why we have this little community, Dominica thing, Ricardo. I know you have been following. As I said, people may not give you the credit now that you deserve, Carlos, but eventually that might mushroom into something very huge and very successful, because Dominicans know what they want, and when they see it, they go for it.
they gravitate to it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It can happen overnight. So, Mr. Leader, I'm not sure if you want to
And they
bring
wouldn't
anything.
gravitate.
Huh?
They
You
wouldn't
said?
gravitate outwards.
Throwing a stone against somebody.
Let's go.
I, as I say, I want just to wind up, because we normally do 1 hour, and I maybe Richie has other plans and stuff. But But in terms of anything else you want to raise that you think you wanted to mention based on your speech, before we kind of wind up, is there anything that you wanted to highlight?
You talking to me or talking to
Yeah,
Ricardo?
you in particular will Ricardo will have the last word, but you in
Okay,
terms
yes.
of,
Yes, I wanted people to revisit the TUD plan so people can re-emphasize on it. The community doesn't want to sell passports, and when we say that, we also mean and specifically want to emphasize on the diplomatic positions, diplomatic passports. So quid pro quo, where people get anyway what it's alleged what's being done, and a lot of things go out in the media of things being done in the past. We have no interest in that, and neither do we want to receive monies with promise of a passport in the future, diplomatic passport in the future. We have no interest in that. What we want is to have our ECI initiative, which would provide persons a pathway to citizenship. And this citizenship program should not be a primary source of income for the country. As a matter of fact, with the way that the country is right now, we should be looking to use this to phase it out and get other industries set up in Dominica funded by the citizenship program, and allow the citizenship program to be what it was originally intended for investment. So when persons want a new passport, a new place to live, to spend their money, to get a return on their investment, they need to come and provide the jobs in the country for our people. So Mr. Wu or Mr. Wherever he is, or Miss African, you have your money you want to spend, invest in a new country, come to Dominica. We welcome you. But we want you to spend your money in Dominica. Provide jobs for 100 people. Provide jobs for 50 people, Laplin. Provide jobs for 20 people, as Castle Bruce, 30, Grand Bay, and so on and so forth. Portsmouth. Get the places full of economic activity provided by the citizenship and investment. And the monies that we generate from it, we as a government would be enterprising. You see, I'm a young person too. I'm one of the first set of the click, the point and click persons, the internet children. I'm one of the early set of internet children. So we have been looking and seeing a lot of what is going on internationally, and we're seeing what is being done in our country, and we far apart. We're not ready to compete in a global environment. We're not ready to sustain ourselves, and that is what we have to be looking for.
And there's another component too of the TD's program that also caters to people like Ricardo, businessman, Dominican, overseas for different reasons, having business at home. The Northeastern Funeral Association is his family's business. So if he wants to have greater investment into Dominica on the Team Unity Dominica, there is a citizenship component. So people who are already citizens who want to reinvest in Dominica get certain incentives to do so, with a lot of perks that go with, so maybe even more than the external citizens.
Okay.
So that is another initiative. Again, Carlos, we cannot say too much now, but that's going to be part of the manifesto. So that program is extended to.
No, what I wanted to emphasize on the system as it is right now.
Yes.
I didn't want to go too much
So I say too much then.
You putting the cat outside the bag, man,
Like,
Alex.
I'm a little excited because that's new things, new ideas. So the Dominicans who have businesses like Ricardo living overseas will be given incentive to do more business, do more work in Wesley. So if you want to go into, I know you went into cremation recently.
Hmm.
If you want to, for instance, do you have any plans to develop the business beyond what it is today? I mean, do you want to
Yes,
uh,
of course. Because the
exactly?
funeral home industry is a very change is changing every day. I mean, gone are the days where you just bury somebody in your backyard and bury them right after they die. Gone are those days.
Yeah.
No, there's innovative ways of burial. There's cemetery ownership. There's all kinds of things. So the other day I was doing some research. There's where you could plant the tree, like bury somebody and plant a tree, and the tree grows from that human that deceased. So there's a lot of
yeah, I
different
saw that.
innovations that is going on in the funeral home industry here now. There's also diamonds you could create when you cremate a body. You could create a diamond from the ashes. So there's a lot of different aspects that I'm looking into and trying to be innovative about as well in the funeral home industry. But
Like
now, but now
mhm,
you need
the
friendly.
incentives, policies in place to,
Yes, sir.
well, that is what
And
Tim
a
Unity
government who is biased towards the success of
of
its
its
people.
people.
Hmm.
That is what, Ricardo, we are all about. To create opportunities for citizens like you to expand business, to create more employment in Wesley, to give us the kind of feeling to give to when we give our final rights to our relatives who are leaving us. I mean, a chapel, it wouldn't hurt you to have your own chapel as part of the home where you offer counseling, grief counseling,
Hmm.
and all of the works. I mean, why can't you be one of the biggest businesses in Dominica as a Dominican owned business?
Yes, sir. Dominican own, first ever on the island too.
Exactly. And the same amenities will be offered to Gentle Rest as well, and the other businesses in Dominica. But
Yes,
just
sir.
give opportunities for people
Yes.
to expand the business and lead us whoever else exists. Just create an even playing field to allow
Feel for
people
everybody.
to exist. I don't want to ask you about the business directly because we can talk about that in the next program.
Yeah.
In terms of how, because that's changed in terms of the it looks as if the government kind of takes care of most of the burial costs of Dominicans.
I would answer you, but we will keep that for another program.
The Wesley mega motor you know boy. But did I ask a bad I mean, I didn't ask it, I was saying that. But isn't that the case that the government
Hmm.
actually pays for most?
Well,
Well,
they claim they pay,
okay.
so we'll leave that
I
alone.
suspect that's a topic we need to leave that alone.
That's
We'll
a,
leave
Leave
that's
that
that
a,
alone
on
for
there
now.
alone.
you see that I know better. And let me leave that alone.
So
Oh Lord, look at where I enter into a dangerous zone there.
yes, sir.
So,
Yes,
so
sir.
you see, instead of helping our local businesses to thrive, we go on a political platform and we tell them they cannot afford to paint their
The-
building, and then we allow the businesses to go down the drain,
To Kule,
and then
yes.
yes, and then we come back and we give them blows. On the flip side, we help certain people because we figure they toe in our line. They
all
Mm,
of
toe in
this
our
and
line.
all of that end for community Dominican government. Yes, we will assist people for final rights. Yes, as a standard,
Everybody,
people who I need everybody, but
there
not
should be a
in
standard.
that is being done. And certainly the senior citizens, all the senior citizens will be protected and taken care of by the government that we will be part of, but not by us through the funeral home.
but you see,
So,
NIPA also has a program where we have membership.
man,
Once
that's
you
what I'm talking about.
once you are a member of the funeral home, you get a free funeral. Basically, you just have to do a yearly contribution of $120, and that's that. And your funeral gets taken care of.
So that's what I'm talking about. So probably the government will assist the people for paying their annual fee or whatever we can do. So if there are 5,000 people, we get there, we get more members. We say, Nifa, how many members do you have? How many members do you think you need to do productive business? Okay, we can do another 2,000 people. 2,000 people at $100 a month is 20,000 people a year. Okay, we're going to give that to you for 5 years to keep your operation cost.
Oh, hey, let's talk about that on another show. I have a show about economic development.
Well,
I'm
invite
trying to
us,
do. I'm trying to
invite
do.
us.
So
So that is what Team
We'll be
Unity.
happy to come on board.
Invite us. That's what Team Unity Dominica is about, Ricardo, looking at opportunities to help indigenous businesses to grow. Not to sell a fast pass, but to make a quick million, then to bling. That's
but
not looking to the people.
but
And
no,
and and
live
then
and
and then we
everybody is
export
hungry.
the work to foreign companies, and you leave our local people to stand
To
aside.
starve. Not to
All the
stand aside, to
trucks,
starve.
all the trucks back.
No, no, guys, I'm seeing a number of comments, especially from coming from Petra. Petra is on a roll. And Petra made a comment I think we should take. She says, most funeral homes in the US provide chapel services to those who do not want to attend church.
I provide chapel services as well.
Northeastern Funeral Association. So
Yes.
NIFA also provide that, Petra. Interesting point that you make. But of course, you can always go beyond because
And I think not I think now I can confirm the other funeral homes do that as well. Linus and Gentle they do that as well. I've attended funerals at those other funerals homes. So yeah, they all, but they also, all these businesses want to do it better. They want to grow.
I want to bring in some more modern vehicles. I can't afford custom duties,
you don't get your vehicles duty free in customs for funeral services
Excuse
for
me?
your home, for your business.
Excuse me? I
Really?
didn't hear you. I didn't hear you clearly.
No, you don't get to have your vehicles duty free coming in for your business, the nature of your business that you do. I think we have to fix that when we come in. That's one of the things we have to address. That's a no-brainer. I mean, that you're talking about. Oh no, 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 no. Ricardo, we need to help you to we need to have you help us to develop that aspect of the manifesto in terms of what is the best practices, if you don't mind, for the expansion of because this is one of the most significant businesses where you come together to give to offer the last rites to a loved one,
So,
family member. That is significant as a business, as a service, as anything.
mhm.
And I'm happy that you and your family has maintained that business against all odds. And I hope that you are going to be with us for the next few years, many years to come. Because God
Well,
knows at the end of our day, we need that service.
as long as I have breath, we're gonna be here, man.
All right.
As long as I have breath, we're gonna be here.
Okay, so guys, let's take a couple of comments from Petra. Petra is a sister who is very progressive and she's on the ball. So we're going to take maybe all Petra's comments very quickly. The first one she said was, we should do like other countries. The people have to reside in the country and have a business investment or spend at least 6 months per year
Here
in
in
the
the
country.
country.
She's speaking about
True.
the citizenship by investment program.
Mm-hmm. And that's a very good
That's
requirement.
that's exactly what the line we think.
Fantastic. So thank you, Petra. Let's grab another comment again quick because boy, we're going over time today there. But it's good conversation. Petra says St. Kitts has the same CBI program and the citizens receive direct benefit. They receive dividends. Dividends.
Mhm.
Hold on,
I,
hold on,
I heard that.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, Alex. Not just people born in St. Kitts,
What?
As long as you pay in Social Security, you get in money.
What?
You pay in Social Security, you get in a dividend from CBI.
I was going to pay Social
Now
Security.
the amount is different from those that
Naturally
those that
born.
live in those that born the yeah, the amount is differs, but it's still that.
So
Ah,
my friend Abby is
listen,
getting money. Then I must call Abby man to see if we can get a little share of her money that she get in there.
as long as she's a paying Social Security contributor, she receives money.
Okay. Let us grab another comment. I know Petra has quite a few comments, so we'll grab a few more before we wrap up here today. Oh, we have one from Christine Reed. proper vetting of the persons applying for CBI
It's
is
paramount.
paramount.
I love that.
Of course, nobody can go against that. And I do not think, based on what we have been seeing for our program, that the vetting process is as effective. I think maybe the vetting is good, but there are loopholes, I think, and people are getting through because we have too many questionable diplomats coming through our program. So, Christina, thank you for that comment. I think that's a wonderful comment. I'm not sure we can grab another one. Trying to buy some time here, keeping Ricardo busy while we. We don't get people like you often, Ricardo. So when you come, we have to take advantage, man.
Yeah, to take.
No, sorry, not take advantage. I mean, use the opportunity. Petra says, passport promotion is like wildfire.
It is. I've seen that guy promoting passports all over Facebook. I'm not sure if it.
An Eastern Bloc guy, right? A younger guy. He was asking a girl a question one time about the she. I saw it. I've seen him. Very aggressive. A very good salesman too.
I mean, I am not saying that his sales tactics is bad, but what I'm saying is
the commodity that he's selling is sold that way.
Is devaluing your product. You want people to come for your product. You don't want to go out there and sell your and just, oh, I have this for sale now. Come and find out the ways in order to get to my product. I don't have to go and advertise nothing. I want you to find me and buy my product. Most businessmen though, big businesses don't do a lot of advertising. How many times do you see Louis Vuitton advertising? How many times do you see Gucci or these people advertising anything? People come because
Lamborghini.
They don't advertise at all. But people come and buy their product.
They invite you to buy.
Good.
You have to be invited to buy one.
So the program must be, there must be integrity and value placed in the passport and the program.
Yes.
And you will sell higher quality, not sell, you will fetch higher quality value on the product as opposed to this come and buy a bala, two bala, passport.
Yes. You have to have, your product has to have value. And we just lost value when we have to have visa access into the UK, our mother country. We have just lost value.
But what about those who are going to say, oh, England is our motherland and we shouldn't worry about England? You're going to hear that? How do you respond?
No, that is out there already. They already
if your mother refuses you, you don't think your auntie gonna forget about you too?
Oh, because they're the sisters of the England, yes.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because England is part of a G8, and I was saying on my program earlier that they are going to ask questions.
Okay.
France, Germany, Italy,
okay,
Canada, even Russia, they're going to ask questions. But England, sister, why did you restrict your former children like that now? And when England explained,
why is your child so?
And when England explained, they're gonna say, "Oh, sister, I understand. Well, we'll do the same. We'll watch out for them."
So that is what they're doing.
That's how
it works. Best we do that too.
That's how it works. That's how the entire system works.
That's how the League of Nations.
It's only gonna keep going downhill because the boss man passed down a law. Everybody under the boss have to implement that law. It might not happen tomorrow morning, but it will certainly happen. It will certainly happen. So you just look and see. Just look and see.
But we don't want to.
So if a good time Canada give us, you might lose it then.
Okay.
We don't want it to happen. We don't Dominica to fail, man. What can we do to fix Dominica now? Again, as you say, Ricardo, put a team together, get on the ground, get to the people's faces, offer them your program, have faith, stick with the people, and the people will stick with you. So we take that as a recipe. And Carlos, it is your job as leader to implement that, my friend. Listen to what Ricardo tell you, go to him for advice, and do what is necessary, my brother, because we cannot afford to see Dominica hit rock bottom. We have one Haiti in the Caribbean already, we can't have another one. Haiti is bad. Haiti is in a terrible state.
And Haitians don't even want to come to Dominica right now. So
no?
No.
They used to come here, and that Dominica used to be their hub.
They go to
country.
for them to be able to go transition to other places. Right now, they don't want to come to Dominica.
What I see they're doing now is they go across through Latin America. Well, they go across through Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
find a way down, then come across the border and come through that way
To America.
to America.
All
So
right
they don't
then.
even come to Dominica anymore. So you're right, because I see a lot of them. And I still wonder about how comes Haitians are on the Mexico border. But then I was talking, hey, I met one who had just made it the day to America. He was at a phone shop organizing his phone, and he was speaking to the other fella in Creole, but I understand everything he's saying on the trip that the whole the journey, how church it was, how much money he spent. He had just landed, no paper, but he was getting his phone organized in Florida here. He actually made it through. It took him about 6 or 7 months for the journey to come through. But he made it with his passport or his ID and tie in a plastic bag and a few US dollars that he could spend to put his children in the food. You know, so yes, you may be right, Ricardo. They don't come to Dominica as they used to before. We used to have girls from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. Carlos, I don't know if you are aware that we used to have a lot of that activities. The girls used to,
Really?
I don't know if you were, the girls used to come into Portsmouth and other places like that.
You forget roots in Portsmouth and not Marriott only.
So
and the people to see you in Marriott, Carlos. The people at Marriott asking to see you. The people of Marriott asking to see you.
You'll see me more. I was there on Friday as well.
I am happy that you say that. You cannot want to represent Marriott and be not in a village. And not be in the village.
Yeah, you know, they want to see you. They want to see you, man.
Why? I'm happy you bring that up, boy, Ricardo, boy.
because people ask, somebody asked me the other day how he was able to come and run from Marriott, and nobody in Marriott really knows him, you know?
Yeah. Let me explain that to you. Let me tell you what happened. So we ran the last election. We didn't contest. We didn't compete. We just contested. We wanted to put some candidates because it was necessary for the democracy for at least an opponents to go up against the government.
Yes, sir.
So we placed Carlos' name. We placed a few people's name. We never campaigned. We never spent money. We never had meeting. We just wanted to have candidates. In fact, we had no agents in Marriott. We spent nothing on the ground. On the day of election, Carlos was in where? La Plaine.
La Plaine, yeah, he told me.
La Plaine.
So it wasn't a thing about contesting. Some people might want to say we contested and lost. We put people on the ballot because we needed to do so for the future.
Okay.
And Ricardo, for not contesting, no money, no meeting, nothing, no mobilization, Ricardo, we got over 100 votes.
In Marriott?
Together.
Okay. Okay.
People who just felt, look, we're going to give them another vote. We never ask anybody directly, no meeting. Well, we had a meeting in La Plaine, 1 or 2 small meetings, but nowhere else. And we got over 100 Dominicans who say, boy, I'm going to vote for them, man. Even after the call for a boycott and everything, all the confusion. And people were asking us, do we have candidates in their areas? They would vote for our candidates. But we didn't put candidates. We put candidates in Marriott. We put one in Granby, La Plaine. These are tough places. We just wanted to have people. So the next election, Carlos will compete. And Carlos will be doing what he has to do, spending time and money and everything else that he has to do to win his seat wherever he runs. So that is explaining what happened in Marriott. Carlos was not competing. He was just contesting.
Okay.
Just because we wanted some people on the ballot.
All right.
So no, it wasn't like that. We would never do that to Marriott, send somebody there and no representation. Not at all. So Carlos, if you want to contest in Marriott, find yourself in Marriott.
Find yourself there.
I learn to talk the Afuawe too.
Don't just talk Rosa talk. We don't understand that.
It's not just Marriott. Not just Marriott. I have to find myself. Sis, let me say it like that. Continue finding myself. I have to find myself all over the island. Capuchin, Carib Territory, La Plaine,
Cottage. You call Cottage?
Huh?
You call Capuchin Cottage?
Capuchin and Cottage, yes.
Okay, good.
Why
Savon
not?
Pie? All right. Okay.
Savon Pie, yes.
He's just trying to make sure you know the names of the
both
villages.
Savon Pies, you know.
He just testing your knowledge. He just testing your knowledge of the villages. You know, that's all.
Oh, no,
The
no.
leader under pressure,
Alex
boy.
knows better. Alex knows better.
The leader under pressure.
Yeah, man.
Alex forget. I was the man going round the island
the man,
installing computers.
the man sweating there, boy.
Forget. Oh man.
No, but Ricardo knows he's working. He's working, and we have been speaking to quite a few people. And actually, right now, we we I do not want to say anything too much, but we are speaking to some very interesting Dominicans who are speaking our language. You, Ricardo, you're going to like our team next election. I think you're going to like it.
Okay.
A team of people that we are putting together, which includes 50% women so far.
50% women.
Yep.
Well, women bring people out, you know. If you
Exactly.
believe it or not, women bring people out. People tend to gravitate a little bit to the woman's side just to ensure that, because they know women brings a form of stability that
And
we men don't bring, and a rationale that we men
and
don't bring.
organization and reason as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, so the people that we're speaking with, who we expect to continue speaking with, in terms of men-women ratio, 50-50.
Okay.
I'm really the prospect look good, and I think if we continue working, the sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit
Mr.
And that is
Alex,
so far.
so far.
so far, but I had to
So
cut on
far.
the short here because I had another engagement I had to attend to.
No, we're going, we're going. As I say,
Okay.
we just holding you. So, thank you, Ricardo, for coming on. We promise you that next time we won't keep you too long.
No, no. Today I have there's a Dominica day I have to go do some filming. I just started a little media company doing Ricardo's Media. You should like and follow on Facebook.
What is the name?
Cardo's Media. C A
Carlos
Carlos.
R.
Media.
Yeah, Cardo's Media.
I'm going to check you out right away. And I'll follow you. And yeah, I'll keep on. So, you're going to be doing a live, or are you just going to
Yeah,
take
I'm
it on?
gonna be doing a live there at the event there now. So I'm just running a little bit late. I'm behind time, but
All right.
I
Well,
I promised Carlos I was gonna come on, so I had to fulfill my obligation here.
thank you on behalf of the team for coming. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the evening. And I'm looking forward to engaging with you again sometime in the future, my brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All
So,
right.
fellas, have
So,
a great evening.
yeah, man.
Great. It was nice rapping, and I'm looking forward to doing my economy live whenever. What I'll do, I'll shoot you an email. I'll send it to
So,
Carlos so he can send it over to you. I'll shoot you an email so we can
let's do it.
give me some pointers and stuff like that to add to my thing. But
I'll
yeah,
be more than happy to help you out, man. That is one of my strong areas. Well, politics and the economy go hand in hand.
yes, sir.
So I can tell you a lot about that. So I'll be more than happy to give you all my expertise at no cost
Okay, that's
as
that's that's a good key. Thank you.
as a
Yeah,
service to you.
man. Yeah, man.
Okay,
So,
my brother.
yeah,
Have a
man.
good one.
Blessings. Yeah, man.
Okay,
Blessings.
take care. So, Carlos,
Yeah,
that's what,
thanks guys for a good afternoon.
yeah, as Ricardo
And
exit with wrap up.
Hmm?
folks who tuned in, thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our various media channels. And stay tuned to Team Unity. We'll expect more from us as we go on. Alex, thank you for hosting and your guidance as usual.
Yeah, man.
Another thing, people underestimate this man, Alex Bruno. People are underestimating this man. Alex Bruno is very knowledgeable,
Yeah.
and I've seen you grow from way back down to Mapampo and your Tia Powell, and with what you trying to assist me to do. Persons are very much underestimating you, and I would like to tell Dominicans, look out for us.
Some people, not all, some people, and they will eventually realize that we shouldn't have been taken for a joke. Some of them. So just keep on working, my friend. God bless you and keep the message alive. I apologize for the longevity of the program today, but we will do this again next week, Sunday, God
This is a
willing.
longest program. This is a marathon.
Longest ever, man. That was like a convention we were in. But and your speech, Carlos,
Folks, thanks for tuning in.
cut that speech out and place it as itself. That is a huge speech, my friend. Put that speech by itself, one of the best political speeches I've heard in Dominica, at least in 10 years. Big speech, big speech. So keep it there. And we had a steady flow of people following. We thank you. We thank Sister Petra in particular for your comments and for keeping us company. We are
Big
small.
up Petra.
Yeah, man.
And of course, Enrique and Enrique has been following on YouTube.
Enrique, that's our boy, our brother. Yeah,
Yes.
man. So the numbers may not be huge in your eyes today, but tomorrow it will erupt into probably a possible landslide. We go with that hope. And we can start to get it, man, Joey.
Yes.
Have a good one.
Good afternoon.